If you thought it was a good idea and you did introduce AI, but you haven't had success, then you're not the only one. If you thought that it's a good idea to introduce AI because everyone else is doing it, well, you're not the only one either. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why AI in customer service fails or sucks most of the time. And spoiler alerts, it's your fault and it's also not your fault. Not to worry, in this video I will give you the practical solution on how you can achieve success. It's pretty simple, but implementing this strategy, well, that's the hard part, and that's how it is your fault. But you are very tedious, you are very practical, you are very proactive, and you're doing great already. You're watching this video and the strategy is guaranteed to work. Hi, my name is Dominic, I'm a customer experience enthusiast. I'm also a CCXP, so certified customer experience expert. I'm a Zendesk partner and reseller, and I sell a bunch of other products as well. But let's just continue on with the video. I just came back from a walk in the forest and boy was that calming. So let's establish the baseline and let's remove you from the guilt trip, because I'm not here to be obnoxious, I'm just trying to convey a message. You've been led to believe by the marketing people of AI that AI can do everything. It will replace everyone, it will replace doctors, it will replace engineers, it will replace customer service people, it will replace your grandma and your dog. By the way, have you seen those dogs? Jesus Christ. No, stop making robot dogs, guys. Come on, it's pathetic, it's embarrassing. So that's piece one, which arguably is where everything else stems from, right? You've been led to believe that it can do everything, and it can't. Thankfully, it can't, and hopefully it never will. Because AI can do a bunch of things, and it can be very precise if you tell it to be precise. But if you ask it human-like stuff, like to interpret this phenomenon, like what's happening with my customer service or what's happening with my customer experience, it's just going to give you the best guess of what somebody else wrote, and it's just going to compile it into an, seemingly very coherent answer. But that's not necessarily what you need. And now back to our topic. So companies say, hey, we want to implement AI, but they're not very sure why they want it. It's because of the hype. It's because like, oh, everybody's doing it and we're going to fall behind. Usually when you do start with an AI, it's usually not AI that you start out with. The successful companies, the ones that do use AI successfully, they don't start directly with an AI agent. No, that's actually one of the last steps that they do. You've probably been in a board meeting or in a team meeting or talking to your boss, or if you're a business owner, you've said we want AI, or if you're a customer experience manager, customer service manager, you said we should introduce AI, we want AI. Of course, let's do it, let's implement AI. But during the first few weeks of implementing an AI project, we document processes, we clean up the CRM data, we define the ownership, and we automate repetitive work. And this is not because we want to avoid AI, this is because this is what AI actually needs. And you can build an impressive AI agent and you can use the latest model, use Gemini 3.5, use Fable 5 from Claude, use ChatGPT 5.6, but you're just throwing away credits because it's not really going to make much of a difference. So if nobody agrees how work gets done, if your customer data lives in different places and it's not connected together, if every employee follows their own different process, an AI will just inherit that confusion and it will not do great. As I mentioned a bit earlier, and you maybe have caught on to this, the best use of AI, or the companies that use AI successfully, don't use the smartest model. No, what they do instead is the following. And this is where I give you the process. And I've already kind of hinted towards it and I've mentioned it already. But here it is. Step 1. Document processes. Make sure you collect everything in a standardized fashion, like SOPs, standard operating procedures. Okay, so if you have a return policy, if you have an exchange policy, if you have warranty policies, if you have insurance policies, whatever it is, you need to document it. Okay? Step 2. Assign ownership. Who deals with what? The processes that we've just documented. Who owns them? Each one. Does Tiffany own them? Does the billing department own them? Does the tech support own them? Who owns them? Who owns what? Very clearly defined. You might also have increments, like a process goes up to here, up to step 4, and it's owned by, let's say, the billing department. If they can't handle it, they need to escalate to finance. If finance can't handle it from step 7 onwards, then they need to escalate to management. This is what I mean by assigning ownership. Step 3. Clean the data. If you have a mess in your data, your AI will not be any less confused. Okay, so if the data is confusing, then the AI will be confused and will not know what is what. So delete fields, delete business rules, delete whatever isn't necessary, tags, you name it. If you don't need it, if you haven't used it, just throw it away. Just clean it up. I know it's tedious. I know it's probably the most boring part of this entire process, but it's necessary. Step number 4, automate the repeatable work. So if you can automatically assign the processes that we've documented with a queuing system, do that. If you can detect automatically if it's a legal issue, or if the customer is stressed, or if the ticket needs to go to on hold status after a task is completed, this kind of stuff needs to happen on its own. And now comes the fun part. And the 5th step is actually what we started out this video with. Here it comes. See how late it came? Introducing AI. This is where you introduce AI. We have our own tool, Flint AI, and people already have started using it. So it's an autonomous agent and assistant in Zendesk, but autonomous agent is the big thing that it does. And this is what we see as well. People just start out with it. They don't put any knowledge base in it. They don't put any documentation. They don't put any historical tickets. They don't put any processes, and then they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, obviously, Zendesk Advanced AI or Zendesk Basic AI won't work either for you if you don't follow these steps. So the bottom line is everyone wants to start with AI, but people that have the most success usually don't. They start out with these 5 processes, which I will lay out again so you can see them. Now I'm going to talk about your guilt trip on why it's your fault now that you've made it this far. By the way, if you have, subscribe or leave me a comment if you disagree, or if you agree, or if you want to see some special content, I'd be really grateful. Thank you so much. So you've been led to believe by the marketing people that market AI that it's going to solve everything. So you've been fooled, right? So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? So now it's the shame on you. If I'm being obnoxious, you have been, let's say, led to believe something, that AI can do everything. Now you know that it can't. If you don't follow the process, then that's shame on you. Okay? So you can't expect it to do everything. It can't be that easy. When was it that something that sounds too good to be true, it turns out to be true? Never. If it's too good to be true, it isn't true, okay? So it's still the ones that get up early, that do the work, that commit to it, that have accountability, document and repeat processes and clean up and, spend the time. People who get up early and do the job. It's still those people who have success. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.